So I went to church camp when I was 15 at Pine Springs. It was July 21st, 2009. It was really the song service that got me. I don't remember who preached, what he preached over. I was crying during the song service. It was probably the first song. And my friend Elena, she looked over at me and she was like, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "No, I totally just have something in my eye." Like, I used the oldest excuse in the book to hide my conviction. So we went through the song service, and halfway through I wrote a note to her and I said, "I think I need to be saved." And she wrote me one back that said she needed to also be saved. And I had just heard God talking to me through the message, and I remember being so scared and so guilty for everything I'd ever done wrong. The fact that if I died that very moment, I would be separated forever from the one that created me. I just heard God tell me, I've sent someone to take all of that away from you. Are you ready? And I was like, yes, I'm totally ready to surrender my life to you. And we did. After the invitation, we grabbed LaDonna and we went outside and we were talking. She told us exactly what it would take to be saved. And we actually were still talking when service got out, so we went back inside. And we sat in a circle of 3 chairs at the front of the tabernacle, and we said the prayer that changed our lives forever. There's nothing I could ever say that could ever amount to what I felt at that moment. I was in elementary school. I was bullied a lot because my family did not have the money that everyone else had. And I finally found comfort in the fact that if I was good at everything, if I could be perfect in all things, then maybe all the torture would stop. That eventually extended to my body, and for 2 years in elementary school, it went on into middle school, and through those middle school years, I battled with anorexia. I thought maybe if I could be skinnier, then people would like me, or if I was smaller, then I could find cuter clothes and I could fit in, or if I was smaller, then everyone would love me more because I looked better. I literally have arguments with myself on whether or not I should eat or skip a meal. Was it worth it? Was it worth another insult to eat that piece of chicken? Or was it worth another insult to have that snack after school? It was really hard to figure out that that's not how I was supposed to be living my life. And I was not saved at the time when I stopped, and I started eating again. I really honestly feel like God had a really big hand in helping me overcome that, because I know that He was preparing me through all the things that I went through then to be who I am now. Even though I started eating again, I guess I compensated by being more involved. I was involved in everything, all the sports. I was a straight A student. Anything that was going on in town, I was there. I was doing anything I could. And I thought that maybe since not eating didn't help, that this would help. And so I was so immersed in all the activities that I lost sight of who I was. And I was so focused for a long time on who I wasn't that when I finally was saved, it was hard for me to be the person God wanted me to be. 3 months ago, I was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, which is paralysis of one side of your face. I asked God, I said, why, if I'm already at this point where I'm starting to love who I am, why would you give me something else that made me look in the mirror and hate who I was? I was going to the school He called me to go to. I was pursuing the career that He's called me to pursue. I was surrounding myself with the people that He had called into my life. I was doing everything I thought I could possibly do to please Him, so why did I have to be pushed back so far into my image? And I just remember being so mad coming home, and I didn't want to leave the house. I didn't want to go to school, because even though it wasn't noticeable to everyone else, it's all that I could feel like they could see when they looked at me. I hated it. I really did. I hated who I was. I hated how I looked. One day I realized that there was just no point in fighting the image that I had, that just because on the outside I looked like my face was drooping, or that I wasn't as the smallest person, there's no point in fighting all that, because I was made in God's image. I did a devotion at church over a verse that said that God made the mountains, and they were beautiful, but I was made in His image, so I must be 10 times more beautiful than the mountains or the sunrises that I see. And it was just an amazing feeling after I realized that God doesn't care what other people see when they look at me physically, just spiritually. I felt so guilty for hating one of His creations. And after I got over that and I got over all of the image stuff, there was just nothing else that I needed to know except for God loved me and He made me the way that I was. Now when people look at me, if all they see is Christ, if that's the only thing people get out of me when they see me, that's all that matters. That's all I'm worried about. I could care less if I have pretty hair or a thin body or a droopy face. As long as they see Christ, that's all that matters to me. I'm Dana Boyd, and this is my journey.